Welcome to Legal 123s with ByrdAdatto. Legal issues simplified through real client stories and real-world experiences. Creating simplicity in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to another episode of the Legal 123s with ByrdAdatto. I'm your host, ByrdAdatto, with my co-host, Michael Byrd.
Thanks, Brad. As a business and healthcare law firm, we meet some amazing people and hear really amazing stories along the way. One of the greatest blessings for me in 2020 was recording season 2 with many of our clients and longtime friends.
Yeah, it was. And in season 2, we were able to share so many amazing stories with our audience. Each episode featured a special guest, added a unique perspective of overcoming adversity and finding a way to think outside the box. And again, I want to thank our great audience for listening, and especially in the fact that we're on so many different multiple platforms and leaving us reviews.
Yeah, I really appreciate those that have subscribed and left us those 5-star reviews. They really make a difference for us and create visibility for the rest of the world. So thank you.
Yes.
What I loved about our theme for season 2 was thinking outside the box. And as I mentioned, we had guests every single episode that were our clients and friends. We were able to kick off season 2 with our ByrdAdatto partner, Dr. Jeff Siegel. That's right, doctor. Mm-hmm. We have a doctor in the house. And the guests just kept trickling in. Brad, what was your favorite episode of season 2?
All right, it's a really tough call, much like, again, asking me to pick my favorite kid. As we talked about, each episode was so unique with our great guests. But for me, episode on season 2, episode 8, it's a bird, it's a plane, it's a Navy SEAL with Ryan Birdman Parrott. That probably was my favorite. Even though I've heard his story so many times, it was amazing hearing again his journey of being a Navy SEAL and being injured in the line of duty, and then eventually starting a nonprofit. It was a lot of fun. And how about you? What was your favorite?
I'm not touching that one, Brad. We had some of our favorite people on this season. I would feel like I'm picking one of our friends over another. I will say one of the coolest experiences for me was having Grant Stevens on an episode. Grant and I have been friends for a long time, and I just loved how his episode ended up walking through the entire journey, starting from when we met to current day, as he was starting his exit plan strategy back in 2007. And then we could see real time how it ultimately came to fruition as we were talking about it on that episode.
Yeah, another great one. Well, Michael, that wraps up season 2, but season 3 is just around the corner. Our first episode, titled Fire Ice with Greg Carness, starts on January 6, 2021. Michael, what do we have in store for our audience in season 3?
Well, picking up where 2020 left off, there are times, Brad, in life, in business, and in life, where we have to learn from stories that don't have happy endings. I feel like we need to cue some dark music here. The premise and theme for season 3 is called dumpster fires. And for those of you who have not heard the technical definition, that's informally defined as mishandling of a situation that has a disastrous outcome. And the probably better definition of it is just to call it 2020.
Yes, absolutely. Well, Michael, in season 3, we have 12 episodes. This season, we have guests from a white-collar criminal lawyer to an actual former undercover police officer. Each episode will have a story with the purpose to warn others. Even if their story does not have a happy ending, hopefully we can learn something. We can focus on the wisdom and the inspiration that we can glean from these unfortunate events. I really can't wait for our loyal listeners to hear this season.
Yes, for many of us, 2020 did not go as planned. In fact, I don't know anyone who it did go as planned. And for those of you who did, I want to talk to you about your ability to predict a pandemic.
Yes.
But we hope these dumpster fire experiences will be opportunities for our listeners to learn from others' mistakes and grow themselves. And I will say this, when it's not you that it happened to, you really will want to get out your popcorn. And it's like, sometimes it's like staring at the sun, and sometimes it's like watching a fireworks display. Mm-hmm. But we're so grateful to have all of you joining us on the Legal 123s with ByrdAdatto. For now, we're going to say goodbye and look forward to you joining us for season 3 in 2021.
Thanks again for joining us today. And remember, if you like this episode, please subscribe, make sure to give us a 5-star rating, and share with your friends.
You can also sign up for the ByrdAdatto newsletter by going to our website at ByrdAdatto.com.
ByrdAdatto is providing this podcast as a public service. This podcast is for educational purposes only. This podcast does not constitute legal advice, nor does it establish an attorney-client relationship. Reference to any specific product or entity does not constitute an endorsement or recommendation by ByrdAdatto. The views expressed by guests are their own, and their appearance on the program does not imply an endorsement of them or any entity they represent. Please consult with an attorney on your legal issues.